Hello, you're watching RTD's English News Edition. Thank you for joining us. The top stories. At the Forum of Ulamas, the head of state presided over the 5th Forum of Ulamas for Eastern Africa. Egypt opens border with Gaza with hundreds of Palestinians in departure. Thank you for joining us. The 5th Eastern Ulama Forum opened this morning at the People's Palace, and it has been held under the high patronage of the President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh. This 5th edition of the East Africa Ulama Forum began with the reading of a verse of the Holy Quran, followed with a presentation of a poem strongly applauded by the poet Mr. Abdul Warith. This meeting of ulamas and scholars in Islam reflects on how to correct religious conceptions and cultural perceptions to change attitudes and behaviors in the society. Representatives of a dozen countries took part in this meeting of the ulama of East Africa. The countries represented are Djibouti, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Somalia, Sudan, Kenya, Tanzania, Comoros, Somaliland, Saudi Arabia and Turkey. In addition to the President of the Republic and the Minister of Religious Affairs, Mr. Mumin Hassan Barre, two distinguished guests took part in the opening of this meeting. It is the Sudanese Minister of Waqf, Mr. Othman Ibrahim, and the Secretary General of the Ministry of Muslim Affairs of Saudi Arabia. The Executive Secretary of the High Islamic Council, Sheikh Akil, and Sheikh Abdurrahman, President of the Ulama League of Djibouti, also took part. The inaugural ceremony of this 5th meeting of the Ulamas of East Africa saw the presence of members of the government, parliamentarians, civilian military authorities, diplomats, and representatives of international organizations. The exchange of ideas, debates, and analyses between participants of this religious forum will last for 3 days. And speaking for this occasion, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Saudi Muslim Affairs talked about the current events in the Islamic world. There are many parameters, and external or internal, waiting for us, he said, not only to thwart negative and harmful elements, but also to channel energies from all sides in order to root a strong and perspicuous doctrine of Islam in its law and ethical form, and to give a clear answer to the enemies of Islam, especially those who want to distort its image. It is essential to refer regularly to the essential values of Islam, supported by the Sunni Islamic jurisprudence, such as tolerance and justice, among others. This will certainly be reasoning for the extremists who have resound to respect the values of Islam. It will be necessary in the future, by our unfailing faith in our religion, will help discourage all founders and neutralize their actions which neglects and as well the fundamental principles of the main fundamentals of Islamic law in our religious identity, as well as the prospect of our Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, will be gradually achieved if we are united in solidarity within a just and respectful Islam for our true values, namely tolerance and respect for others. And for his part, the Sudanese Minister of Waqf expressed himself in the same way that the various speakers particularly recommend to the various members of East Africa or elsewhere to work together in order to adapt to socio-cultural changes across the continents, while analyzing the influences of all kinds and all origins for better understanding, and thus to integrate them in the good sense, and because God and His Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, exhorts us to go in the good direction of the Holy Book, he said. The Executive Secretary of the High Islamic Council has in his intervention expressed his pleasure to open this 5th Forum of the Ulama of Eastern Africa. He thanked the President of the Republic, Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, combining the efforts of scholars and intellectuals of the Ulama of East Africa and elsewhere will allow me, he said, to be convinced to make a bright image and innovative ideas and beneficial for Islam and Muslims. He also extended his thanks to the guests for accepting and responding to the invitation. We wish them, he said, a pleasant stay in our country, Djibouti, being their second country, a land of meeting and exchange, a land of love in dialogue and a crossroads for cultures. Djibouti is a kind of emblem of unity, of equality and peace, he said. The Islamic religion emphasizes education, training and sensitization with a view to establish a religious and middle-class concept within its midst, educated, tolerant men who meet contemporary demands, has continued. On the other hand, it is very urgent to fight intelligently the harmful effects of certain cultural customs and that run counter to Islamic laws and precepts. As for the Sheikh Shandan, representative of the Ulama League of Djibouti, spoke about the impact of social networks that are spreading at a high speed with more and more users. This may influence the behavior of our young people especially, he has indicated. And also, we must study all the parameters to take advantage of this unavoidable space to develop the revival of a modern Islam and at the same time respectful of its values. And in his speech, the Minister of Muslim Affairs expressed his thanks and gratitude to His Excellency the President of the Republic for honoring this forum with his presence and sponsoring them. This reflects his interest in religion, science and knowledge, as well as his unfailing and daily commitment to the promotion of social and economic development and cultural progress, as continued the Minister, adding that the values of Islam and religion of middle ground are the basis of our identity and cultural affiliation. And during his reign, blessing and prosperity settled in our country, and this is reflected in the love of our fellow citizens for the pilgrimage and the ever-increasing flow of faithful pilgrims to Mecca each year. The fifth forum is appropriately entitled Correction of Religious Conception and Cultural Perceptions in order to change attitudes and behaviors within our society. Now let's listen to the intervention of the President of the Republic.
الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. أصحاب السعادة والسفراء، أصحاب فضيلة العلماء، ضيوفنا الكرام، أيها الجمع الكريم، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
First and foremost, I would like to extend my most sincere greetings to this distinguished eminent scholars and thinkers meeting who have honored us with their presence and participation to this 5th Regional Forum for Researchers and Educators. This year's theme, Reforming Religious Concept and Cultural Perception to Change Mindset and Behavior of the Society, is one of the great importance and represent a great challenge for the intellectuals. Their duty is to clarify the ideas, correct the concept, and support the knowledge society in order to contribute to the process of construction and progress, but also to promote social cohesion. Dear colleagues, it has become necessary to unify our effort and activate the role of religious, educational, cultural, and scientific institutions to cope with the change our contemporary societies are witnessing and to provide to the young people the knowledge and the necessary tools in order to let them not to lose their religious identities. Religious institutions should also promote the spiritual and moral values advocated by our Islamic religion. It is a way of teaching people to coexist, to teach them tolerance, open-mindedness, respect for others, and the bridge of cooperation and integration between the different segments of societies. Our young people, thanks to God, have become intelligent, competent, and highly qualified. This is due to the educational and academic institutions, universities, college, research centers, and scientific council of the state. But we need additional effort to guide them in the different sectors. This will increase the efficiency of the society and at the same time will improve its security and stability in order to achieve independence and prosperity. Dear researchers, we need to crystallize a new vision of ideas, especially in the age of information and technology, open channels and social interaction sites that touch the mindset and shape the consciousness of young people directly or indirectly. These developments need to be studied in depth to see the effect on behavior and belief. By far, there is no doubt that the research you will contribute will serve the present and the future of the nation for the use of the common good. I wish this forum every success in its work and its recommendation. May God be in your effort.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Mahmoud Ali Yusuf was received Saturday, November 18 in afternoon by his Egyptian counterpart Samih Shukri. During the meeting, the two ministers reviewed the relations between the two countries as well as the extraordinary meeting of Arab foreign ministers scheduled today, Sunday, at the headquarters of the Arab League in Cairo. The meeting focused on strengthening bilateral cooperation, particularly with regard to the issues of the Horn of Africa and promoting common interests between two peoples. The two ministers also raised the importance of cooperation between the two countries bordering the Red Sea, knowing that Egypt will host a meeting of senior officials of these countries from 11 to 12 December. The Djiboutian foreign minister emphasized the importance of coordination and consultation on various issues of common interest. He called on the Arab Republic of Egypt to support the positions of the Republic of Djibouti, recalling the continued support of Djibouti to Egypt in various forums. And in Tujura, a new city has appeared. This city, located at the edge of the sea, 12 kilometers from the White City and east of village Ripta, has about 50 homes. A school, a dispensary and a mosque were also built. The new city is supplied with water thanks to a drilling done, and it is waiting to be connected to the electricity grid of Tujura. The construction of this new city was financed by an Arab NGO with the support of the Tujura prefecture. Its inhabitants came from the rural areas of Mount Mabla, which they left for various reasons, including the consequences of drought and bad weather at certain times of the year. Accompanied by the prefect of Tujura, Foreign Minister Mahmoud Ali Yusuf made a brief visit to this new city. His trip came on the sidelines of Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed's trip to Tujura and at the head of a strong government delegation and leaders of the People's Real Life for Progress Party (RPP). The prefect thanked the NGO partner for the construction of this city that will help many families from Mount Mambla. These families will settle near the White City of Tujura, he said. In a brief intervention, Mr. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, the foreign minister, announced the main objective of the construction of this city, and he said is to relieve the poor families who face the consequences of climate change. The delegate minister in charge of decentralization, Hamadou Mohamed Aramis, organized this morning a meeting aimed at analyzing the deficiencies observed during birth registration of newborns in the Republic of Djibouti and particularly in the region. An introduction was made on this issue by the Secretary General of the Ministry, Mohamed Aïs Farah, who conducted an investigation into the issue. A study was initiated by the Ministry of Decentralization with the financial support of UNICEF and the assistance of an international consultant. During this meeting, the Deputy Representative of UNICEF in Djibouti took the floor to explain the importance of the civil status. Participants at this meeting considered that there are difficulties in registering births in the Republic of Djibouti. Recommendations were made by participants to facilitate these registrations. And as part of the new strategic direction to better revitalize the municipality and improve the living conditions of the inhabitants of Balbala, the president of the commune, Wabari Nour Alaya, inaugurated in the evening of Friday in the enclosure of the commune first edition of the Night of Ideas of the municipality of Balbala. A first in Balbala, and whose credit goes to the local elected officials of the municipality of Balbala, who have already recently developed their own municipal development plan for the period 2018 and 2020. In the presence of the many guests, namely among others the members of the organizing committee of the Ideas, the members of the office of the RPP, the parliamentary members of Balbala, the actors of the civil society and the lively and intellectuals of commune of Balbala, the president of the municipality of Balbala reiterated that from now on Balbala acts and reacts in forth and works on a collective project of Balbala 2020. He also explained it is thanks to the support and consultation with the local population that we can bring about change in Balbala and improve the living conditions of its inhabitants. And since he said, and again, to achieve the vision to Djibouti 2035 initiated by our President Ismail Margeli, we must work together, he said. And more on Balbala. During this event, participants and intellectuals of Balbala shared their ideas and recommendations to better change and improve the municipality. And now on the regional news, Egypt has opened its largely sealed border with Gaza after a reconciliation agreement with Hamas gave the Palestinian Authority control over the crossing for the first time since 2007. For more details with Hindi Ibrahim.
Egypt has released a restriction at the border with the Gaza Strip, allowing many Palestinians to cross freely for the first time in 4 years. Women, children and men over 40 are now allowed to pass freely. Men aged between 18 and 40 will still require a permit, and trade is prohibited. They to move strongly opposed by Israel, came some 3 months after Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak lost power. Egypt and Israel close borders with Gaza when Hamas seized the power in 2007. Israel retains concern that weapons will be imported into Gaza through the Egyptian frontier, but Egypt consists it will conduct through search of all those crossing. People living in Gaza will also need to be carrying Palestinian ID cards, which are issued by Israel.
In Equatorial Guinea, the majority party wins the elections 100% votes. Let's listen to this one.
The Democratic Party of Equatorial Guinea, PDGE, which has been in power for near 40 years in the country, has once again won the legislative, senatorial and municipal election of the November 12 with nearly 100% of the vote. The President of the National Electoral Commission, Clemente Ngonga Ngema Ungen, announced on Friday that the PDGE and its 40 and earlier parts get all 75 seats at the senatorial level. At the Chamber of Deputies in Malopo, only a single member of the opposition of the Citizen Party for Innovation (CE) was elected, leaving 99 seats to the ruling party.
That's all for tonight's news. Thank you for joining us on RTD and have a good night.